Welcome to the House of Ed Tech podcast. I am your host, Chris Nessie. The House of Ed Tech explores how technology is changing the way teachers teach and the impact that technology is having in education. I discuss technology that is changing our classrooms and schools, and I share tools and tips that you can hear today and use tomorrow. You're going to hear the stories of teachers, leaders, and creators just like you. The purpose? Whether you use it or not, technology is changing the way you teach and how your students learn. Good evening, everybody. It is time for another House of Ed Tech live stream. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. It is Monday, February 1st, 2021. Where does the time go? We are a month into this school year. How are your New Year's resolutions doing? Are you keeping up with them? Are you making the change that you said you would make way back at the end of that horrible decade known as 2020? Very exciting to be here. We got people checking in live, checking in from I have no idea where. So help me out. If you're watching on YouTube, or maybe you're watching on Twitch, or you're watching on Periscope, wherever you're watching this, leave a comment. Put something in the chat. Where are you coming to us from? Be happy to shout you out and make you part of the program, because for the next 59 minutes, we're going to be talking about Tcea 2021, which is very exciting because this is a very popular EdTech conference providing professional development for teachers, not only in Texas, but here in 2021, providing PD and information and growth worldwide, because it's all virtual here in 2021. Similar to ISTE, similar to FETC last week. And the difference is this one is going virtual for a whole month. So you've got a month to access the content, the materials, the resources, if you are attending, presenting, all those wonderful things with this conference. Checking in on the chat. What is up? The Fonz, host of My EdTech Life. My name and some party poppin' horns. Love to see it. Love to see it. And the Fonz is checking in, of course, from the great state of Texas, home to Tcea. So very cool. Fonz, thanks for being here. If you're not subscribed to Fonz's YouTube channel, podcast, Fonz, please drop that in the chat. And I'll be more than happy to promote that, make that part of this, because you do a phenomenal job with My EdTech Life. And again, if you're watching this after the fact and you're not subscribed to his channel, checking him out, what he does, you must do that. You must. Not because I told you to, but just because. All right. Again, if you want to hop aboard, this is a live interactive call-in show. So if you want to be part of the magic, don't dial your phone. Just go to chrisnessie.com/join, and you'll go into the green room, and you can certainly join me on the air, and we can talk about education technology. If you are attending Tcea this month, or you are presenting, I want to talk to you. All right. So you don't have to have your camera on. You could certainly come in here and keep the camera off. But certainly I'm not here to talk at you for the next hour. So certainly you are going to make this program go. And that's what we'll be doing. So the way to get on here is chrisnessie.com/join. And I wouldn't be doing my job as the host of the House of Ed Tech if I didn't encourage you, if you're not already a subscriber to the podcast, basically anywhere you listen to podcasts, search for House of Ed Tech, or on your device, go to chrisnessie.com/go, and that will take you where you need to go to subscribe to the podcast. And if you're already subscribed, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Ooh, we have a caller.
Hey, how's it going?
What is up, Fonz?
Not much, Chris. Just here. Thankful for you doing this. TCA, very interesting. Very interesting first day. So pretty excited about all the great stuff that's going on. Different for me, used to the face to face.
Well, I mean, we're sort of face to face, right?
Well, yeah,
Look,
sort of
ready?
face
Ready?
to face.
I, I'm gonna look at you. What's up?
How's it
How you
going?
doing?
Doing well.
Hey,
Oh,
this is the beauty of what we do, and certainly you do a phenomenal job. As I gave you a big shout out here at the beginning.
oh yeah.
But before you talk about you, talk about. I mean, you are a resident of Texas, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you've been to this event
Mhm.
face to face with people in real life. Why don't you set that up for us? So, what is this conference all about, as you understand it, and what's been your experience in the past? And we'll get into what it is right now.
Well, TCEA, usually it's the conference that I look forward to every year. Texas Computer Educators Association conference held every year around this time in February, first week of February, normally in Austin, Texas. Then they moved it to San Antonio. Then this year was supposed to be in Dallas, Texas, but of course, COVID happened and still up in the air as far as
Stupid COVID.
up in the air as to what was going to happen. Then of course everything's going virtual, but like I said, it's in the past, it has been just great to see the growth that this conference has had, year after year. And it just kept getting better and better, obviously in person. Then you've got the big names coming down, even local, here, Texas educators as well that are well known, several platforms. Texas is a big state. So definitely a huge market for education and education products because we are pretty big. But like I said, this year, very interesting. First day, I definitely was going back and forth with some of my friends, and we're like, this just feels weird because every year we always looked forward to seeing each other and bumping into each other at the conference, of course, and presenting or otherwise. And this year it's everything's online and just texting one another saying, "Hey, did you check this one out? Hey, did you go check that one out?" And the conferences and but like I said, I'm still very happy. I got to speak to Peggy Reimers and Miguel Gulen today, who work for TCEA and helped set all this up, and just gave them some kudos for some of the great things that are available now. Like you said, the whole conference available for 30 days, a whole month of just being able to go take your time and explore, chunk your learning, and just so what I've been doing, actually what I did today, and I know I've been rambling on here, but uh I went in and I got the audio and downloaded the MP3 audio for a couple of people that I didn't get to see. And so once everything ended for the day, I just had my pods in and I was just listening, while doing some stuff here around the house. So I was still able to get my learning on without being on the computer. So I thought that that was very interesting and neat and cool. And of course, downloading their PDFs and just saving them in my Google Drive for so I can see them later, check out their notes and all that good stuff. So, there is some positives to it, but again, it's just that face to face, man, that hey, bumping into each other and running into each other, and of course the selfies with one another, and because if you don't post it, it didn't happen. So, things like that.
That is all very true. Now, when you started to talk about this, you mentioned that in the past you've presented. What types of sessions, when the Fonz is at a conference, what are some of the things you've presented on and like to present on? What are your
Oh,
passions when you provide PD?
I love presenting on AR VR. And actually last year it was great. Like I didn't sign up as a presenter last year, but what was great is that I ran into my amazing and wonderful friend Jamie Donnelly, who's very, well known for AR VR, and of course she's got her book out and everything. And we just became really great friends through Twitter and just our passion for AR VR, that she just bumped into me and we just started talking, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to come up on stage with me and present?" I was like, "Heck yeah." I mean, it's Jamie Donnelly. It's like, I'm not going to pass that up. So did get to present with Jamie actually 3 times last year. So, and again, I didn't even sign up as a presenter, but it was just really cool. But this year though, I am a presenter or a co-presenter also with another Google innovator, Melissa Summerford, and we will be talking about finding your tribe. The importance of being a connected educator. So that I'm really excited about that. That'll be happening tomorrow at 3 p.m. in the Google room or Google Theater, I should say. So I'm really excited about that.
Now, so is that happening live, or is that something
No,
that
that
is
one's
recorded,
live.
or
Yeah,
will that be available after the fact?
Yeah, I believe so. It should be because I know that everything that's going on in Google Theater is going to be live. So yeah, we will be live tomorrow at 3 p.m. And I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to get that recording after the fact and all the good resources and everything. But we'll be live at 3 p.m. tomorrow from 3 to 4.
And that's all about being a connected educator and the value of the
Yeah,
PLN and things like that. All right, so
exactly.
let me ask you this. Obviously, we want people to attend the session, and we want them to watch the whole session after if they can't do it live. So don't give me your top takeaway. Give me like the number 5 thing that somebody would walk away from your session. Like, what's the 5th best thing that they'll come away with?
The 5th best thing that you're going to come away with is just getting to learn about global GEG. That's going to be the 5th way. And that's not even the number 1. If you really want the number 1, you definitely got to come and show up for that.
I say we want people to show up to get
you're going to show up for that. But believe it or not, getting to know global GEG is going to be your probably the 4th or 5th. It's right there. But number 1, you definitely need to show up for that. And again, like you said, Chris, it's just talking about being a connected educator. And Melissa and I are going to share our journey this year as far as actually connecting through becoming Google innovators this year. So the way that we got connected through other innovators, and then of course how global GEG started, due to pandemic. And so we'll be talking about those connections and the value of now, even in our personal and professional, lives daily, because we communicate daily. So it's really cool.
And for people who maybe they don't know, so GEG stands for Global Educator Group.
Yes. Yep. Yes, Global Educator Group. So if you get a chance, go to, I think it's just Global GEG. I'll pop the link in, and then we can do a quick search. And that way, you guys, it's globaljeg.org. And I'll pop that in here I guess I can pop it. Nope, can't pop it in the comments, but I'll put it in the chat here for you. And
put it in the private chat. I'll pull it up on the old screen of Rooney.
Yeah, there you go. And so
let me get that. I got the session thing up from this side. So let me grab this link, and then you can keep talking about it.
Yeah, so pretty much the way that this started actually started through pretty much a staff room, where it was just like staff room. You just go meet, just share your stories, your struggles and everything. And then all of a sudden it's a bunch of Google innovators, Google trainers, certified educators just got together and said, hey, let's go ahead and start this and start training people. So this group really, did level 1 trainings, level 2 trainings, Edpuzzle, anything that you can think of, it's all there. And if you click there on the team, Chris, that way you can kind of see who the team leaders were. And it was pretty much the idea of, actually, it's not that tab. There you go. If you click there on the team, right underneath that, you'll get to see pretty much the masterminds behind getting this group started. And of course, you had Steph Howe on your show this last time. I guess I forgot what conference that was for. Was it FETC or was it another one?
She came on during ISTE, but she's also an actual full guest of the House of Ed Tech. So she talked about her Google Innovator experience going to Australia. So that she gave us some inside information on that process.
Yeah, so it was awesome. So of course,
look at this guy.
Yeah, that guy. That guy was on my. Oh, look at that
Who's
guy.
That handsome guy.
That's right. So if you notice, if you go in here, you've got like Randall Sampson in there. You've got people from all over the globe, amazing educators that just wanted to share their knowledge and see the benefit of bringing our knowledge together, making videos, training video series. We've got level 1 boot camps, level 2 boot camps. We've got a video training series. We've got all sorts of series and all sorts of trainings that we do pretty much on the weekly, and you can find those on the YouTube channel. But it all started with like that staff room, just making that connection, just opening up, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're not the only ones that are going through this. Let's do this. And now it's just been pretty much just turned into something amazing, and being able to get out there and share those resources and our experiences with so many others. So this is part of what we will be talking about tomorrow. And, thanks to these fine folks right here, these 6 people, all Google innovators right there. Also so you've got Steph Howell from Ohio, Abbott from the UK. You've got Steph Rothstein from California, Luis Bertus from Colombia, Bonnie from Louisiana, and Leslie Altman from Australia. And then, of course, the team is from everywhere and anywhere. So really, really great stuff.
Now, how much you guys get paid to do this?
Absolutely nothing.
That's how you know it's
Everything is
valuable.
free. It
That's
is
how you know
free,
it's
Chris.
valuable.
It is free. Everything is free. You've got, and like I said, everything in the Global GEG YouTube channel. You go there, you can sit there and watch the videos, and you can become a level 1, level 2. They started a trainer series. They started a coaching series. There's all sorts of courses that are being led by a lot of the innovators, a lot of the coaches. And it's just, like I said, it's all free. You don't have to pay for anything. I know that people offer, courses, and it's okay. If you're one of those, you want to pay $150, for a course because you need that structure and you need somebody to kind of like, hey, keep you in line, by all means. But if you're one of those that says, hey, you know what, I want to look, search, do this on my own, hey, go to Global GEG and you'll find pretty much a lesson or a presentation pretty much on anything. If you go to the YouTube channel, you could just click your playlists and learn a completely new platform immediately. So yeah, and it's free. Like I said, I can't say that word enough. Free, free, free.
But wait, there's more. No.
But wait, yeah. Yeah, so
That's great.
Yeah, so definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. Global GEG YouTube channel. Like I said, you have valuable stuff there for everything. We've even got a back to school, Google Junior Trainer series. When kids come back, we give you some tips, things that you can do to welcome back your students. Those of you that maybe don't have students back yet, but will soon, just ways to prepare. We even give you articles that are attached to that. So it's research based. I mean, we're not going to just tell you our experiences. It's things that we also look at. And so, yeah, so everything is there for you.
That's awesome. And again, for people who are checking this out, if you go to this, and I will, I think I can take your link and I will paste it into the actual chat, because I guess that's how this works. So people can check out the globalgeg.org, and if there is not a GEG group in your neck of the woods, they've got information about how you can start your own group, right?
Yes, exactly. So I'm glad that you brought that up. There is pretty much groups almost actually pretty much in every state and in every neck of the woods for the most part. Now, the question is sometimes it's like, well, if I'm from Texas, can I be in a group from Michigan? Absolutely. You can sign up, and you get to meet different people. And I'm popping the link in here to, I believe this should be the YouTube channel there, Chris, in case you want to share that. But you can find it, get connected, with your local GEG, and, you're going to make those friendships. Even the local GEGs on their own, they do their own trainings. For example, what's his name? Oh my goodness, Eric Kurtz. Sorry, Eric Kurtz. Global G or GEG Ohio. I mean, it's Eric Kurtz. I mean, I'm part of GEG Ohio, and I mean, you just go in there, and I mean, you just learn so much stuff. And then, so every GEG, like I said, have their own events. There's also GEGs in Latin America, so please check that out. Don't think that these are all just U.S. It's Latin America, pretty much all around the globe. And again, like Chris said, if there isn't one in your area, get connected with Global GEG and you can figure out how to set one up for your area.
Again, global is right in the title. It's not the United States
Yep.
Google Educator Group. It's global. So again, spread the googly love.
Hey Chris, I don't know if it's my here, but you sound a little bit robotic. So I don't know if maybe it's the audio on your end or maybe it's just me receiving the audio.
That should probably fix it.
There you go. Perfect, man. That was on point right there.
Yeah. Real quick, I'd be remiss if I didn't shout this fella out. AJ Bianco
AJ
in the audience. Clearly, he's looking at a wall in his house that doesn't have any drywall. If he's looking at two studs. Hello to AJ. If you're not following AJ on the socials, he's at AJ Bianco. He's the host of the Reflect Ed podcast. Go to reflectedpodcast.com. He's also my podcast PD compadre along with Stacy Lindis. And he's floating around in his basement right now, I bet, or he's sitting on his couch. Either way, I'm glad he's here.
He's working on his promos.
Yeah, you know what? We did have a conversation. He said you did some legwork for him and you were putting some stuff together and
Chris,
him on.
It's like that's the way I am, man. Because like I know. I mean, I love his podcast. I mean, it's so awesome. And the thing is, I know we all have a lot to offer, but when I listen to some podcasts that are similar to AJ's, I'm like, man, like they go deep, and it gets me thinking. It gets my creative juices flowing, and then sometimes I'm like. And then I just have conversations with people. So it's very different. But I told AJ, I was like, hey, man, like, let's do, work on your promos. And I just went and got a picture off his Facebook page and just put it up on Canvas and put something together for him. And I said, here's maybe just kind of something to try. And he was just like, hey, man, that's pretty cool stuff. So hopefully that'll get him motivated.
Now, since you brought up the fact that you listened to his podcast.
Yeah.
What'd you think of episode 7?
You know what? I haven't listened to that one yet, but I am going to. But
I hear it's pretty good.
The one that was really good was the one that he did with this guy, Chris Nessie. Man, I always say it all the time, Chris. I mean, your honesty and the way that you say things is just so refreshing. Because I mean, you don't play around. Like you just say, "Hey, boom, this is the way it is." And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes you just need to hear that, and that's something. Sometimes that's very refreshing.
It is. And you know what, you kind of, you inspired me with your description of me. And maybe that makes me sound like a real vain piece of something, but you had mentioned this to me. I think we were on a Teachers on Fire thing, or maybe it was an after the fact thing, or in Voxer, somewhere you let me know that. And that kind of got me thinking about, you know what? I am very open and honest, and I want to be even more intentional about helping people by not beating around the bush, not sugarcoating, not being mean, but just kind of laying it out there for people. And that goes back to something that I think I've always subscribed to, which is being authentic. So having meaningful conversations, having meaningful relationships, and just, here's what I think the truth is. If you don't like it, all right, that's fine. But I'll sleep easy knowing I said what I needed to say. So.
Yep. And sometimes,
when it comes to helping people.
Hey, and that's one thing too. Like, the way that you help people, honestly, guys, and again, Chris knows, because I always send him messages like, hey, how do you do this? And he's like, try this. Okay. How do you do that? Okay, try this. Okay. So again, being a connected educator. So, hey, guess what? We're actually talking about that tomorrow at Tcea from 3 to 4. Join us in the Google Theater. And we're talking about being connected educators, which is what Chris and I kind of did, as I just kind of reached out to him one day and just wanted to get this podcasting stuff, and definitely Chris has helped along the way and gotten to meet some great people like AJ and other podcasters, and getting to learn from them as well. So definitely think about being a connected educator. It'll really help. Makes things easier.
And then my pal Alex in the chat, formerly of New Jersey, now he does his thing in Florida. Yeah, Alex, you should probably try this podcast stuff. It's really fun. Now, granted, between the two of us, you'd want to look like the Fawn. Wait, hold on. You want to look like the Fonz, right? He's got, I mean, look at his background. I mean, like the House of Ed Tech is like an extra bedroom in my house. You know, I mean, he's got the degrees. He's got, what do you got? Is there an Oculus in the box or is it just the box?
Oh, what's the box? But the Oculus is right there. I took it out of the box. I was playing with it today.
Now, you should be doing like some dubstep because I mean, part of your logo is the goggles. So you should podcast with the Oculus on. Oh, he's gonna get it.
Use the merge cubes right here. Look at that, right there with the merge goggles. I can do that right there. I can take this out. There you go. How's that?
Well, now you look like a poor man's cyborg. That's great. We are laughing. We're having
fun. We're having a great time. Love it.
Oh, all right. We're gonna expand this out, and through the magic of television, phone technology, whatever the case may be. What is up, Alex? Welcome aboard. How you doing?
Pretty good. Just trying to shift the audio stuff around. Turn you off on YouTube to know that I'm back, on stage now.
Yeah, you just turn down your radio and you'll be good to go.
Where'd my sound go?
The joy of live.
All right, hang on. I see you talking, but I can't hear you.
Alex, it's an hour show.
Got it. I think I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, we can hear you.
Good. So, yeah, no, I have 3 screens and 2 of them don't have speakers, but it automatically feeds when I switch audio inputs, it feeds to the screens with no audio. So all of a sudden it goes out. But
all right. Well, what do you got, Alex?
Oh no, I was gonna jump in. I have a favorite story based on your being direct. There's on Netflix. There's a documentary about mission control, and you can tell I've used it a few times. At about 27 minutes and about 15 seconds in, there is a great story.
That's oddly specific, Alex.
Yes. There is a great story about what happened with the mission control guys after the Apollo 1 fire. And Gene Kranz, who is played wonderfully by Ed Harris in Apollo 13, so you get to know which character you're talking about, has a whole speech for them, basically the engineers, about how their job is to be tough and competent. They will never not speak the truth about what they're doing and what they know and what they don't know, and they will never, ever not spend the time to learn everything that they need. So you have good company with that attitude.
And I guess I'm starting to look like Ed Harris.
Well, there's that too. But
now, Alex, while I have you here, are you a registered attendee for Tcea here in 2021?
No, it completely slipped my mind in terms of preparation. So I'm actually trying to figure out now whether to go back and try and look. I believe there's costs involved, so I have to figure out that from applied to my budget manager.
Yes, there are costs involved. There are costs. Fonz, are you familiar with the cost of this event here this year by chance? I know you can still register.
Yeah, you can still register right now. I'll tell you right now, the regular registration is $239. Register now. Yeah, $239.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to the boss, Alex.
Yep.
The family CFO. There you go.
All right. All right. So Alex, you go get the money. And then
yes, I'll go apply. Yeah. I'll go have a budget meeting.
That's never a good thing at 10:30 at night.
I couldn't even schedule one right now if I wanted to.
On so many levels.
Yes.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody else yesterday, and trying to get them to do some budgetary stuff. And they were like, the boss is not quite awake right now. And I was like, okay, I get it, but move while you still can. So Fonz, in addition to
other than leaving you with my movie comment, I'm going to let you guys continue to talk because you guys are having more fun. You just got to move your desk closer to the back wall, Chris. Put that bed on the other side of your desk so you can have the stuff on the wall show up just like Fonz. That's really all it is.
Well, I actually have an idea that's going to be me doing my next DIY project. I tweeted out a video today, but I'm going to try to not do what I tweeted out of cardboard. I'm going to try and do it out of wood. And so there might be a new background in the works. Nice. I just need to put the parts and pieces together as I usually do. But
like Home Depot already sells those big, and it looks like, brick.
What I'm probably going to do is make it look, I'm going to build a giant trifold, like a giant science project thing. And I will just have that. Although I'm trying to procure a green screen, but I mean, those can go, that could be a little iffy with the green screen. Gimmicky, so I'm debating. We'll see.
All right. I'm going to go back to just watching.
There you go. Thanks for hopping aboard.
You should get a Yankee Stadium replica behind you.
That now you're talking my language. That'd be good for the Chase for 28 podcast.
There you go.
AJ and I could look like, I'm in the press box and, he's down on the field and we'll start.
Yeah. There you go.
Of that. But as I started to ask, so you're presenting tomorrow. What are you hoping to get out of this? So I'm sure you've looked at some other sessions. What are you hoping to do over the next month, and what types of sessions are you looking to attend, or what sessions have you identified as, going to do that one?
Yeah, well, a lot of the sessions that I'm looking for right now is just to get some ideas just for teacher professional development. What ways to engage teachers, not necessarily trying to look for new tools. Right now, it just seems like everybody's really sharing, the same tools, that everybody has been, either doing on Twitter and things of that sort. So I have though bookmarked those presentations, like I said, just to come back because I'm always one of those, like there's always going to be that one little gold nugget, that nugget of knowledge that it's just going to blow my mind, even though I think like I've already seen this, but there's always that one thing. But again, right now I'm just focusing on that teacher professional development aspect. I did a great session today. Also, it was there in the Google Theater. It was Amy Mayer and from Frytech, and they were talking about how to design teacher professional development, the design aspect of it. When you're going through a platform, but actually making it engaging for the teachers, visually also as well. But also a couple of things that I did. Like I said, you always find those little knowledge nuggets, is always give them something to take with them, even though they feel like, oh, I'm already an expert, or I already know how to do this. Why do I need to go to that training? You definitely want to offer something that they can take with them, whether it's either like a template or maybe just like a quick tip guide that they can use, and, that they can also, change as needed, edit as needed for their classrooms and things of that sort. So I found that to be very, like for me, I was like, why didn't I ever think of that? Sometimes it's the little things, at the end. So I did do something similar to that, but I do it with badging, with our Google Level 1 certified lessons that we do in our district that I created. So at the end, I started using Badger. And so now when the teacher finishes, then I send them the link, they get their little badge, and their badge is good for the length of the Level 1 or Level 2 certification. But now they get that badge that they can, put on their signature, but it's also there on Badger, and, it just follows them wherever it is that they go. So, doing that, it really helped out a lot. And, they pride themselves in putting the little badges there. But like Amy's, I never thought about something like that too. Just creating something for them that they can kind of take and edit and kind of make their own. And I think that would be something valuable for me as well. When I go to a conference, I want to take something that maybe I can change. So I found that. But again, just focus teacher PD, how to do it better. I'm always constantly trying to learn new ways of of doing things and presenting things in a different way, and how to leverage the tools that we have already. So I'm looking for a lot of presentations that are, pretty much go in line with the same tools that we're using in our district, or finding that free tool. And I always tell my district, and my district knows, my assistant super knows, that I do not like to spend money. I am like the worst. And especially when it's not my money, I'm definitely not going to recommend anything that's going to be like a freemium. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, sorry, you don't get that anymore unless you pay for it. Like I always go totally, totally free. So those are some of the things that I'm looking for there.
Although, let's be honest, somebody else's money is always the best money to spend.
Yeah. I totally get that, but I'm just very cautious. I don't want, like I said, spend money in
right. The thought there is, if it costs money and it doesn't work out quite the way everybody thinks it's going to or should, then there's going to be pushback. Mm-hmm. But if it's free and it doesn't work, right, on to the next free tool. Or
exactly.
It didn't work. Hey, it didn't cost us anything. No skin off my back.
And I always say, if it's free, it's for me. And my boss knows that. I always tell her that, hey, if it's free, it's for me. And I won't share it unless it's free.
I go one step further, and my go-to is free is my favorite 4-letter F word. Now I don't know. Do you feel like podcasting is hot, Fonz?
Like right now, yeah. I think everybody like probably started a podcast like crazy, like, thanks to COVID, and everybody kind of being cooped up. I know when I was trying to learn a little bit more about podcasting, I was like, hey, these mics are on back order. Webcams are on back order, obviously, for school, but even just people that wanting to stream. So yeah, right now I think podcasting is what a lot of people are doing. And I think that it's great, that they're putting their voice out there. They're putting themselves out there. Now, another thing is longevity. Like, are they like really serious and they're going to go with it? Or is it kind of like, you know what? Like I did like the 7-episode blues and it's like, nah, this is too much. I don't want to do this anymore. And, just kind of gave it a shot. So I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I of course, I think podcasting is hot. AJ, hot like fire, he says in the chat. But I bring that up because I always like to look, because typically, I'd say in the last 5 years, and AJ knows this, like I tend to do and design workshops around either teaching with podcasts or creating podcasts for you or your student. Again, I don't care how old the learner is. I think everybody's capable of some version of podcasting. And I agree. Podcasting's hot. COVID brought to you by podcasting, but I go to this session website and I do a keyword search for podcast. There's only 3. There's only 3 sessions on podcasting. And so if you are into podcasting, I'm certainly going to highlight these 3 sessions. If you're attending this and you're like, all right, what should I attend? Well, there's only 3. One is called Student Voice to the Rescue, Blogging, Vlogging, and Podcasting with Google, Adobe, or Microsoft. And this is presented by one of my Twitter pals, Laura Steinbrink.
She's awesome.
She is at Steinbrink Laura on Twitter. And actually, can I get the description for this? Give me a pop-up. That's where pop-ups are good. So this session, Student Voice to the Rescue. There's the title. In this session, learn how to set up a strong community of bloggers who are well-versed on different platforms, including Microsoft Sway, Google Sites, Wakelet, Adobe Spark Pages. See how to tap into the power of Microsoft Teams and Google Classroom to house the blogs. This session will explore student voice and empower them to make those technical decisions about which platform to use for their blog. And obviously, you and I both know podcasting is just a blog post with some audio attached to it. So certainly that's a part of this. So that is,
and sometimes a good looking face. Sometimes a good looking face every once in a while.
Well, 1 out of 3 ain't bad, because AJ's face is still on the screen, and we're going to count you as the good looking one, Fonz.
Not at all. Hey, but incidentally, you're talking about this. I did put in a proposal, and I'm just throwing it out there, TCA. I did put one out there on, actually my workflow, like, podcasting. I was going to do one with integrating podcast, StreamYard, and of course my workflow with Canva and just designing everything. But I guess, they missed out.
But see, now here's the beautiful thing. Because you're a content creator, like if I get rejected from a conference, I will just turn that session into an episode of my podcast.
There you go. Exactly.
So, either way, I win. And in theory, my podcast is going to reach more than the handful of people who'd come to a session. So
yeah,
it's win-win. So that's another reason why you should start a podcast. If you're tired, here you go. Ready? We're going to do the ad spot. Are you tired of getting rejected from all the major ed tech conferences out there? Do you have something to say and you just don't know how to get your message out there? Start a podcast.
Exactly.
There you go.
Or actually, like Chris says, just click play or record. Sorry, just click record.
Just hit record. There you go. Laura's session is geared towards high school, so 9 through 12. And let me just get to, again, there's only 2, so this is not going to take up too much time. Here is one called The 3 Ps in a Podcast: Purpose, Passion, and Perspective. This is a poster session from school media specialist Adrienne Smith. She is at A Smith EdTech on Twitter. And mastery of oral delivery can be challenging for students in front of the class. A more engaging, less fearful way, words are hard sometimes, a less fearful way that allows for critical thinking is podcasting. Ding, ding, ding. See how students synthesize research papers and communicated with a global audience. Yes, podcasting, I think, is the ragu of education. It's all in there. It's not just the recording of the audio and speaking into the microphone. It's the research, the writing, the scripting, the graphic design, the web design, the planning, the research, the preparation. It's more than just hitting record. That's just how I get you in the door. And this last podcast session is called Music and Podcasts in any Classroom. I like that. And this is from Taylor Hawn. Hope I'm saying that right. I got a 50-50 shot. This person has not built out their profile, so I cannot shout them out on social media. But this session, and this is going to make AJ cry, learn to use Soundtrap in any subject to improve student engagement and information retention. AJ and I are not huge fans of Soundtrap, but that's a story, and neither is Fonz based on his face.
Nope.
It's a little clunky, and I think there's better options out there, whether you're Mac, Chromebook, or Windows machine. But the only thing I do like about Soundtrap, and I wish somebody else would come along and also do this, is it's kind of like the Google Docs of sound editing, right? So you can have people collaborating on a project and you can actually sync it to your Google Drive, literally. So it kind of operates like that, but with audio. I would certainly like to see other services or platforms make that a possibility. And I just don't like their editing tools. And, I've played with it for a couple of years. AJ's played with it. What are your thoughts?
I played with it, I guess like in March, April, when I first started, doing the show. And, it was very busy, went through the modules, learned it, but I just, like I said, pretty clunky. I wasn't very thrilled with it. And then I just ended up finding something else that was a lot easier. And then at that point I just said, you know what? Hey, what you see is what you get. And then I just say, you know what? I'm just no post for me. I'm just going straight into Anchor and out there, it's like, and that's it, so I don't mess around with any of the sound or post-production stuff at all anymore. So, yeah. But that's again, my Soundtrap story.
But that just goes to show you for you who's watching or listening after the fact, there's not one right way to do what we're doing even right now. So for the stuff that I do some post-production, do some editing, I use Audacity, and that's one way to do it. What the Fonz just described as how he captures his audio and then just puts it out there. You can also do that. But what makes it even better for Fonz is the creation part is smooth. Got a good microphone, captures good audio, and that makes it easier, right? And improves the quality. So,
and all thanks to Chris, though. This mic wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Chris. Chris is. I was like,
I
hey,
forged
so
it from steel. I built it. I sent it to no.
Yeah. He just said, hey, how about you try this out? And then I just did some reviews or watched some reviews. I was like, all right. I was like, look, Chris has not steered me wrong at any time during any of the questions that I've ever had. And if anything, he's always actually steered me into the right direction, even though he says there's no right or wrong way. But I definitely learned real quick that having a really good mic helps tremendously, like you said. So I agree with that.
And even with that, there are multiple microphones that somebody could start with, right? So you're using the Shure MV7. I'm 99% sure that's the model.
Yes, sir.
That's the USB and XLR version of what I'm using, which is, for lack of better words, Michael Jackson's microphone. That's, the Shure SM7B. But you had said something. Oh, I wanted to go to AJ's comment here because we were talking about presenting and conferences. And AJ says, people don't feel like they are the experts. They don't want to just put themselves out there. So let me springboard this last segment before we wrap it up for today. AJ, I agree with you that we see I'm not even going to use the vocabulary words that I don't like, but we know the people who are out there who have a certain image. They're always here. They're there. They are the big names. That's as far as I'll go with that. And everyday average regular people, they don't feel like they have anything to contribute. Or a lot of people, they don't try to apply to present at conferences, and more people should. It's along the lines of why I encourage everybody and anybody to try podcasting, because there's no one way to do it. And there's no one authoritative voice on any topic. Fonz, real quick, what is My EdTech Life about? What's the basic premise of your content?
Connecting educators one show at a time.
And what topics do you typically cover?
Any topic dealing with education or non-education. I just want to hear the people's stories and make them relatable so other educators can reach out to them and not feel intimidated when they may need some help.
There you go. Is yours the only podcast like that?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. That's a great question that you asked that. I know in my mind, I'm thinking everybody else is doing like in-depth stuff, like, either it's app related or they're doing a lot of SEL and they're doing things that are actual, like, useful in the classroom. And for me, it's just, I just want to get to know you, and I want my audience to know who you are, like the real you. Talk about your life, your struggles, how you overcome, and how you fell in love with education, and what you're doing, to change things. So I don't know, maybe you just got me there.
Well, I was going in one direction, but I mean, it might be the only education podcast like that, but I mean, what you described, that's what Oprah does. That's what Letterman does. Like, you're just getting to know people. So like, you know what I'm saying? So what makes your podcast special, or like my podcast is not the only podcast about education technology. It's the host. It's you. It's your point of view and your perspective. And people who are maybe not as enthusiastic about applying to present at a conference or put themselves out there, take the chance, take the risk, because what you bring to the table is your stories, your point of view, your experience, right? I could lead a session on podcasting and you could lead a session on podcasting, and they're going to be two different, but they're both going to be valuable presentations and sessions on podcasting. We just have seen it through different lenses, right? And people need to realize, apply to conferences. That's a great way to, like what you promote, connecting with other people. You don't have to be the expert in the room. That's what EdCamp is all about, right? Anybody can go into an EdCamp and start a conversation, right? So to AJ's point, people shouldn't have to worry about whether or not they're the expert or the guru or, well known in the area. If you're passionate about the topic, or you've got a question about the topic, or you've got anything to share, put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. You have nothing to lose. And just do what I do. Tell people, hey, if you really like this session, my name's Chris Nesi. If you hated this session, put in another name. If you got no value, put in a different name. So there you go. Oh, he's adding more. People who are not well known also fear not being listened to or facing an empty session. As hot as podcasting has been for the last couple of years, I have gone to conferences and done a podcast session for like 3 people. Right? I'll look into a mirror and talk about podcasting. I have. No. So it's not about the size of the audience. Your confidence you shouldn't measure your value based on the size of the audience, whether you're presenting a PD session or your YouTube channel or your podcast. As long as there's more than you or your mother listening to this,
yeah,
you're good. You're reaching people. So don't worry about superficial stuff like the numbers or the downloads or how many people came to your session. If there's 5 people in your session, that's 5 people you can make a connection with, who you can really talk to about your topic and really engage them. It would be really tough to do that if you were doing a presentation for 70 or 100 people. You're not going to have that same intimate connection with that audience who's in front of you.
Correct. And I agree.
And Alex,
even what Alex said, actually, I was going to point that out, did a session for one person, sometimes it's like, hey, you know what, that one person, they're definitely going to find something from it. And I've always learned, it's like, whether it's one person or 100 or 1,000, I'm still going to give you my 110% on everything, because at least that's the way that I've always been. But I know some other people might be like disheartened, but hey, you're presenting, this is where you're going to learn to be a better presenter. So yeah.
And let me, Alex, I enjoyed that session. No, no, it wasn't me. All right. Well, it is, again, this is time shifted after the fact, whatever. So it's 10:52 and I've been talking most of this hour with the Fonz from My EdTech Life. So Fonz, real quick before we say goodbye for the evening, where can people connect with you, connect with your podcast, your YouTube? Just lay it all out for the people.
All right, guys. Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate you allowing me to be here, and I'll be available all week since I'll be at Tcea all week. So, but anyway, for those of you that are listening, if you definitely like to connect with me, go to my website, www.myedtech.life, myedtech.life, and there you can find all our social media connections that we have. Follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, follow us on LinkedIn. Follow us on Facebook at My EdTech Life. And again, just check out our shows. And like I said, simple premise, guys, it's connecting educators one show at a time. To people telling their stories, giving them a stage. And if you'd like to share your story, just go to the website, go to contact me, send me an email and say, hey, you know what, I'd like to share. It doesn't necessarily have to be all EdTech. It could just, be something great that you're working on, a project, the way that you're helping teachers, your learning community. And, if I'm here, my platform's here. Is that way you can go ahead and share away and, get yourself out there. So again, I'm here for you and to serve you in any way that I can. So thank you, Chris. I appreciate you allowing me to plug.
Now, since you said you're going to be here all week, got any interest? You want to? I'm gonna do the live stream. So for people, I'll be live on Wednesday night from 10 to 11 again, and I'm going to do this again on Friday. I'm not going to go, and then that's all I'm going to do because I don't know, I'll be tired. So would you want to come back and you want to tag team this the next 2 nights I want to do this?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, man, for sure. Definitely. So I'm really excited about some sessions that I'll be doing tomorrow, and then of course the next couple of weeks. And like I said, right now I'm focusing a lot on just that teacher PD aspect, but I know there's a lot of stuff that I'm seeing on AI, and in the classroom and things that are coming or things that are already there as far as tools. So looking a little bit into that, but a lot of it is just also want to look for creativity. Right now I think a lot of students really need that creative outlet, and we definitely need to see how we can get that either through blogging, vlogging, Adobe, Canvas, Canva, whatever. Just put something in their hands and allow them to create. So definitely, I'm really excited to join you and tag team again.
Nice. So the Fonz and I will be back here 10 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday, February 3rd. Tell your friends, share it on social media. Just come back here to chrisnessy.com/live and we will continue this conversation. So tell your friends. And if you attend sessions before then, be ready to participate, join in the chat, come on screen, share in the learning. And we truly will be better together. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Nessy. And if you're not subscribed to the House of Ed Tech, the hell's wrong with you? Sorry. Go to chrisnessy.com/go and make the House of Ed Tech part of your anytime, anywhere professional development. And before you do that, go subscribe to my Ed Tech life and make Fonz a part of your professional development. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Wave goodbye.